The clock is ticking. Finale. Sequence 66. Today is Maddie's wedding, Claire said to her mother even though she knew she couldn't respond. Can you believe that the same girl you ridiculed and called names is actually getting married today to a millionaire? Claire blinked away the tears that were threatening to fall. Your daughter Christina is 6 months pregnant and she is in jail. Look at me, divorced with nothing to my name. Vanessa is widowed and all this is your fault. Claire's husband had divorced her 3 months ago after he had caught her cheating on him with one of his colleagues. See what you did, us. See how you ruined our lives because you wanted us to live by the standards of this world. I hate you so much, I wish you could just die, she yelled. After her mother had collapsed in court, they had rushed her to the hospital where the doctor had confirmed that she'd had a stroke. The stroke had paralyzed the entire right side of her body. She couldn't walk, talk or feed herself. Just die, I am tired of taking care of you, I want to live a free life. A tear escaped her mother's eye, she was fully conscious. She could hear and understand even though she couldn't talk. What worse punishment for Esnart could there be? She was always talking and active but there she lay unable to utter a word. Asterisk 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 asterisk, when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. Isaiah 60:22. She awoke to the first rays of sunlight that came through the window. She jumped out of bed and looked at her reflection in the mirror. It's my wedding day, she said smilingly. A tingle of joy swept through her body. Today and every day from here on, she would be with the love of her life and the father of her unborn child. In spite of everything, Maddie was nervous about everything that could go wrong on this lovely summer day. She was admiring her wedding dress when Vanessa burst into the room to help her get ready. Asterisk 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 asterisk. At his house, Chard had awakened early as well. He was looking out of the window when he heard footsteps coming up. He turned to find his mother coming in. Morning baby, she said. Good morning mum. Are you ready for today? She asked. Days. I am proud of you, she began. When I look at you and Maddie, I know that both of you will have a long happy life. Thank you. I had seriously given up on the idea of seeing you get married, but see what the Lord has done. You've made me the happiest mother on earth, she smiled. Thank you mummy, come here. She opened her arms wide to eagerly embrace him. He came close and gave her the hug she wanted. I love you even more mum. She pulled away. Let me go and get dressed, I don't want to be late. Where are the boys? They are having breakfast. Okay. Asterisk. At Maddie's house, there was constant activity. Maddie was standing in front of the enormous mirror. Her wedding dress was something new. It was a loose-fitting lace dress that flattered her baby bump. She was wearing a pearl gold necklace from Maya for something old. Her makeup was light and perfect and her hair was rested on her shoulder in loose curls. Today was perfect and she felt like a princess. This was a dream come true. Vanessa walked into the room. She was wearing her peach of the shoulder bridesmaid dress. She gasped when she saw how beautiful Maddie looked. You look almost perfect, she said seriously. Almost. Something is missing. She opened a tiny box revealing a pair of drop earrings made of sapphire white gold and aquamarine stones. I want you to have this, she said. MG. Are you for real? Yes. I want this to be what is borrowed for your wedding, for good luck. I hope it will make you feel as beautiful as it did to me, she said. Thank you so much sis. You are welcome. Let me put them on for you. She gently moved back her hair and fixed the earrings. Thank you. Auntie Debbie then walked in. You look stunning my girl. Thank you. She smiled. I have something for you. She handed her a small baby blue garter. Something blue, she smiled. May your marriage be filled with love, purity and fidelity. Maddie adjusted the blue garter on her leg with tears glistening in her eyes. Let me help you, Vanessa said as she rolled the lacy garter higher up her thigh. Maya walked in shortly after. She was wearing the exact same dress that Van was wearing. She approached her and handed her a banquet of peach-colored roses. Tears fell from Maddie's face. She was surrounded by so much love it overwhelmed her. You are gonna ruin your makeup, please don't cry. She sniffed. Thank you so much for everything. You ladies look beautiful. You look even more beautiful, our bride. they said in unison. Mummy. Trinity rushed into the room. She stood in her tracks when she saw her mother. You look like a princess, she smiled. Thank you, Mama Bear, you look like a mini princess. Thank you, Mummy. I will go and check if Blessing has packed everything that Hannah will need. Van rushed out. And where is Leonard? Maddie asked Maya. She had given birth 5 months ago. His father just picked him up. He will be bringing him to church. Great. I will check if the cars are ready. Auntie Debbie walked out. The church was packed. He had not expected to see this many people. Chard was proudly standing at the altar awaiting his bride. His blue tuxedo fit like a glove. He was in fact a handsome groom. When the music began, everyone turned around with cameras ready to snap the bride and her team. Trinity was first. She ventured slowly down the aisle, dropping peach rose petals on her way. Right behind was Zoe, Chard's niece, and Theodore. When the traditional wedding march began, everyone stood up. Debbie wrapped her arm around Maddie's hand and walked her down the aisle. Chard was awestruck when he saw her. She looked stunningly beautiful. No woman on her wedding day could have looked more beautiful. He anxiously waited for her. Who gives this woman in holy matrimony? The priest asked as everyone took their seats. I do, Debbie answered proudly. She handed her over to Chard and turned to walk back and settled in next to the blessing. Maddie took her place beside Chard and the service began. After they recited their vows, the priest gave Chard permission to kiss his bride. He smilingly lifted her vow and looked at her intently. I love you more than I ever imagined possible. She closed her eyes as he leaned in, then he kissed her deeply and tenderly. She responded willingly. Several minutes went by before he pulled apart and smiled at her. I almost forgot where we were. Everyone giggled. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present to you, Mr. and Mrs. Kapambwe. Everyone finally stood up and clapped for the new couple. Eventually Maddie and Chard walked out of the church, holding hands. As they stood in front of the church, the two couldn't stop staring at each other. It was almost as if they were standing alone, just the two of them together. I love you, Mrs. Kapambwe. He said he love you more, Mr. Kapambwe. She smiled, feeling thankful that after years of searching she had finally found her, Mr. Right. The end. Epilogue. 5 years later. Nehemiah Kapambwe, didn't I ask you to clean this stuff up? Maddie said, shouting to where her son was. Sorry, Mummy, but I am not done playing. He replied. Okay, please pick all these toys as soon as you done. Okay, Mummy. Maddie turned to walk out of the room when her son said, I love you, Mummy. She turned, I love you too. Maddie adored her son and she was looking forward to her second child, with Chard arriving in a matter of months. Is he giving you trouble again? Chard asked when she walked into the living room. Smiling up to her husband, she let out a sigh. He is a handful, but I adore him. He didn't pick up his toys because he is still playing and the room is a mess. Baby, don't bother yourself with such matters. I will pick up the toys when he is done playing. You need to rest. Maddie sat down on the chair staring at her husband. He looked as handsome now as he did the first day she met him. I love you, she said. The last 5 years had been amazing with Chard by her side. He was her safe haven. The best husband any woman could ever wish for. She was glad she hadn't allowed her mother to push her into marrying someone she didn't love. She was glad she had waited for the right one. Speaking of her mother, the woman had died some 2 years ago, after being sick for a long time. In no time, Vanessa, her daughter Hannah, Theo, Trinity and Kylie, Chrissy's daughter, walked into the house. Hello, Vanessa rubbed her stomach. Maddie smiled. Hi, Auntie. Mummy, I missed you. Both Theo and Trini ran towards her and kissed her cheeks. And I missed you more, my babies. How was the holiday? Excellent, Auntie V spoiled us, Theo said excitedly as usual. They rushed towards Chard and hugged him as well. Kylie and Hannah, come and give Mummy a hug, she said, opening her arms wide. They walked towards her and she hugged them tightly. Vanessa had adopted Chrissy's child and she was raising her as her own. Theo and Trini, take your bags, your rooms. Maddie said right away, Mummy, they said in unison. Chard smiled. The two were inseparable, they acted like twins. When night finally fell, they all gathered in the living room to watch a movie. This was her favorite part of the day, being able to relax with her husband and children. Chard had arranged several cushions around the floor so that Maddie could comfortably sit without straining her back. He held her hand as they watched the movie. He was happy that he had married her. She had been a good wife and more. He looked forward to the many years he was going to spend with her. She was not only his wife but his best friend. End.